Welcome to Mind Your Business with Darlene Pierre-Louis. I am Darlene Pierre-Louis, and I thank you for tuning in. Every time you have a chance to watch this show or rewatch this show, or if you're listening to it or streaming it on any of your platforms, I thank you for the support. Please feel free wherever this is posted that you can make comments and make suggestions to us. Minding your business is not just the actual business that you operate, but it is the health business, the physical business, the mental business, every aspect of your life. Because if you're physically ill, you can't run and operate your business, even if you have a full staff. So again, I thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Business with Darlene Pierre-Louis. I am Darlene Pierre-Louis. So today, it would be a disservice if I did not touch the basis of life insurance, asset protection, and setting money aside for contingency plan. What is contingency plan, you ask? Contingency are those things that we don't think about. We should, but we don't. Yes, you're not in the same industry that I'm in. You're not in the finance and accounting industry, so you're not thinking about all the details. When you purchase a home, you're not thinking about the fridge going haywire or the washer or the dishwasher or the microwave that you have to replace. A lot of times we're not taught that. That's why I am so proud that I was part of an organization that allowed me to bring my team to their homeowners, first-time home buyers program so that we can talk about putting together a budget. Because think about it, when you rent a house, anything that goes wrong with the house, you're calling your landlord, right? But when you own your house, you are the landlord. So there's no one else to call but you. So if you only have money for the first, last, and security, or the down payment and monthly payments, you're not going to have enough money set aside to probably replace the roof in 5, 10, 20 years, or to repaint the exterior of the house, or all the improvements that take place. Well, the same way we're thinking about our house and putting money aside to purchase a house and to upkeep the house is the same way we need to think about our families. So thus, estate planning. Everyone has an estate. If you own a car, you have an estate. Well, nobody's really going to be fighting over the car as much of a house, but it's still an estate. If you have $500, $600, $800, or $5,000 in the bank, that's part of your estate. So what happens with that is we really need to talk about this, and I'm surprised that bankers don't talk about that, is when you have, like for myself, I'm the only one on my personal checking account. So if I don't have a beneficiary, something happens to me, guess what? That checking account is now going to belong to the bank and the government or the state that I'm in. It is very important that we pay attention to those kind of things. But who's going to tell you? If I have the expertise and the knowledge and I don't share it, that's on me. So in Mind Your Business, we cover every aspect of your life. Your life is your business. But today especially, we're going to cover estate planning. Like I said, you don't have to be a millionaire or a thousandaire, like our friend Sharon likes to say. But if you own a couple $100, you got an estate. Because if you drop dead right now, guess what? That money is going to go to somebody. So how can you put together a simple estate plan? We have a plan set aside at our office that covers every aspect. A lot of times people have a will. The will is when you passed away. So when you pass away, the will take care of your clothes. You guys know me and my shoes and jewelry and purse. So my will outline who I want to have these clothes and jewelry. Not just everything, but really nice staple clothes. I used to have a seamstress. I used to make some really customized clothes for me. I have really antique jewelry or maybe antique artwork. Those things, you want to leave them to someone who's going to appreciate them, or maybe who's dropped a hand, said, hey, I want that artwork. So write it down. So our estate planning that we can help you with doesn't cover just the will when you passed away, but it covers while you're still living. If you drive, or if you are a passenger, either in a Lyft or an Uber, you're prone to get in a car accident. Do you want that? No. But what happens if you get in a car accident, whether you're driving or somebody else is driving, you're a passenger, or you're a passenger in somebody else's car, or in a Lyft or Uber, and you're in a coma, you can't talk. Who's got the authorization to make decisions for you? If you're married, automatically, by default, most states say the spouse. But if you're not married and you have adult children, you think they can just jump in and make that decision? No. So we need to make sure that we have it in writing, that somebody has a power of attorney over our finances. Because if you're in a coma, you can't talk, the bills have to be paid, the house have to be taken care of. If you have kids, they have to be taken care of. Who's in charge of that? So in my case, when my kids were younger, I have two sisters, and they were each assigned different roles in my kids' life. And then I sat down and had a meeting with them and explained to them, the reason I chose you for this role is because I know you're going to respect my education platform and how I want my kids to be educated, where I want them to be able to go. If we have to sell the house, whatever, make sure they get their education. And then my other sister is good with the money, balancing the checkbook, paying the bills, and all. Not that both of them are not. I didn't want to have one person, so they had to communicate with each other in order to take care of my kids to the best of their ability. Yes, they have their father, but their father has his 50% ownership. Well, I know it sounds ownership like we're saying these kids are possessions, but when you get a divorce and you have shared custody, and if it's 50-50 or 60-40, whatever the percentage is, your percentage, if something happens to you, someone has to help you manage, especially if you have younger kids. I'm sure you've read in the paper, a rich person dies and they leave all their money to their cats or their dogs, and you get mad. But if they didn't have children, or maybe they disinherited their children, or their children didn't take care of them, or didn't like them, or didn't treat them right, they said, I work hard for this money. I'm not leaving it to you. You don't like me. Why should I leave my money to you? And it's not just money. I keep telling you guys, it's not just money. It's your prized possession. It's your house. It might be your boat. It might be a scooter that you have. It might be an antique car that doesn't even work, but it meant something to you, and you want to leave it to someone who's going to appreciate it. So not only do you have a will, you have a power of attorney over your finances. You need to have a power of attorney over your medical. I don't know if you're in Florida. I'm sure the whole United States, even overseas, heard about the Terry Schiavo case, where she was in a coma, couldn't speak, couldn't make decisions for herself. She was married, and the husband wanted to pull the plug, because he said, we had a conversation, that's what she said. The mom and dad said, no, I know my daughter. I know how we raised her. She would never want that. She'd want for us to find whatever way, means necessary to keep her alive, keep her here. But guess what? Went to court and all this stuff, back and forth. Finally, it was the husband that had the right. To avoid any of this, put it in writing. File it with the courts. The other thing, too, is once you have all these things in place, you also want to make sure that your key person, either an attorney, an estate attorney, or a family attorney, whoever you have doing all this for you, has copy of this. Because what happened, you've ever seen, I can't remember the name of the movie, but they were reading the will, and they called all the family members. Sometimes it doesn't have to be an attorney. It could be a trusted friend. But you need to have a backup plan, because that trusted friend may precede you in death. So, you want to have a backup plan. And when you look at the will paperwork, you'll see that they have a first beneficiary, second beneficiary. You can break it down in percentage. Like if you have 5 kids, maybe you don't want every child to get 20% each to total up to 100. You probably want this one to get 50% and the others to get 10%, It's your money. It's your asset. You can do it however you want. But here's the thing. Do it. If you have a house, even if you think your house is only worth $100,000, that can be stuck in probate. And then before you know it, the house have to be sold to pay all the bills. You don't want that. You worked hard. You worked probably night and day, 2 jobs to get that house going. You fixed it up, you painted it, you remodeled it, you did everything you wanted to that house, and now all of a sudden the courts are making that decision for you. And I know a lot of people are scared of life insurance. A lot of people are scared of wills because they think, oh, my loved ones are going to try to kill me so they can get what I want. No, they want you here with them. The longer you're here with them in better health, the better it is for them. They want you to be able to see your grandkids and your great-great-great-grandkids to the 7th generation. So please adhere to what I'm saying to you. Our office can help you with that process. 561 877-4662. So here's something that I got, and I really wanted to read this because I thought it was so important. That's why I have my phone with me. So it says, everyone has an estate to protect. Without proper documents, upon death or incapacity. Incapacity means you're unable to make decisions for yourself or you're unable to speak. A court process may be necessary for your loved ones to receive the legal authority to act on your behalf or even administer your estate. The most common and necessary documents for your estate planning includes the following. A durable financial power of attorney, which I just told you about, power of attorney. Someone has a financial power of attorney. While you're still able to make your decision, they can't override you. You make your decision, but as soon as you become incapacitated, then they will take over. A living will with medical power of attorney and health care directives. If I fall into a coma and they said I have a 5% chance of living, I don't want to become in the vegetative state. You know what you want. You don't want to be in a wheelchair. You don't want to do this. And then there's other people that said, listen, science is upgrading all the time. Science is advancing all the time. I want to stay hooked up to that machine until somebody discovers a cure for me or until somebody discovers how to revive my brain. That's up to you, but you have this in writing. And whoever you assign to be over that has to respect it. The courts will respect it. And I think there's situations where they will remove that person if they're wanting to go against what you have in writing. A last will and testament. A last will is saying, this is my last will while I'm still breathing that I want to take place on my behalf. This is my testament. Testament is a sworn statement. So upon death, someone will need to be authorized to manage your assets. If you have young kids, it's very important you have a will. If you own a home, it's very important to have a will. Who's going to take care of the home? A lot of people, it's the husband or the wife, and then both of you die in a car accident. I'm sorry, I sound so morbid, but this is life. We all have a round trip ticket to this world. The first one was arrival at birth. Naked we came to the world, and naked at death we will leave. I'm sure when they're burying us, they're going to put a clothes on us, but still, you can have this so detailed to where even how you want your hair combed, what kind of dress you want on, what color, your ceremony, the songs, the hymns, or if you want to be cremated, or if you want to be buried near water, whatever. You can list anything you want and it will be honored. Revocable living trust. There's revocable. That means it can be revoked. That means it could be updated or changed. And then there's irrevocable living trust. So all these are important because we're thinking, oh, I'm not a millionaire. I don't have that much money. I'm good. That 5,000, my friend Sharon likes to say 1,000-year or a millionaire or billionaire. You don't have to look at that you don't have billions in the bank. You don't have millions in the bank. Your couple $100, your couple $1,000, I need you all to do me one favor right now. Whenever you see this, if it's too late and the banks are closed, the following business day, go to your bank, or even some of them will let you do it online, add a beneficiary to your account. Because if something happens to you, the bills need to be paid, they don't know where the checkbook is, all that is going to, and then let's say you get better. You get better, but you lost your house, you lost your car because nobody was able to get access to the bank. They couldn't pay the bills. So irrevocable trust. And then also consider, will your loved ones make necessary decision in case of an emergency? So that's why I like the medical and the financial, the healthcare directives. You want to be specific. Some people, due to their religion, they can't get blood transfusion. That's verbal. Do you have, they have sometimes you can wear these bands that say that, but if you have it in writing and it's been filed with the courts and you have a family member or friend or a colleague, whoever you trust that can make that decision for you, if you don't have a spouse, sometimes there's some people that have a spouse and they'd rather a friend or a sister or a best friend, especially if they've had the best friend since elementary school. And that best friend's been their friend for 70 years. They just married their spouse 3 years ago. Who knows who more, you know? So however you want to direct your livelihood while you're still breathing is when you do it. And do it when your mind is focused and sharp. Don't wait till you have a stroke, which we don't know when we're going to get a stroke, you know. You could get a bad news and you get shocked, and then before you know it, you have heart palpitation and something goes wrong. I know it sounds morbid. I know you don't want to talk about this. Usually on Mind Your Business, I'm talking about your health, you know, turning on the radio and music and dancing, having a glass of wine. But we need to talk about the sad and touchy feeling things. We need to do that. And what is the purpose of a life insurance? Life insurance is not for your loved one to kill you so they can inherit it. If you have young kids, what the life insurance will do is will keep taking care of those kids, feeding them, putting clothes on them, paying for after school or daycare. And if depending on how much life insurance you're capable of buying, and don't wait till you're too old, because the older you are, by the day, we get older. I'm older today than I was yesterday by a day. So your insurance is going to cost you more. So there's a formula. I think it's 10 times your income for insurance and 20 times, I can't think off the top of my head, but it's a 10-20 formula. So whenever you're sitting down and meeting with someone to get these kind of services, make sure they understand and they're explaining this to you. It is very important that you understand that you don't buy too much insurance, but also that you don't buy too many things you don't need. So like I said, in our office, I've been a licensed health and life insurance agent for, I want to say over 5 years, but you've never heard me talk about that because I have a very close friend that used to handle all those things for me. Well, guess what? He passed away. Yeah. But I'm certain he had life insurance. I'm sure he had a living will and testament. I'm sure he had a medical power directive. I mean, I'm sure he had all those things in place because we talked about that. When you're in the industry, it's not morbid for us to talk about these things. Morbid means, oh my God, you're talking about death. That's so sad. That's so unappealing. But it is appealing. When you have a child, you're looking at your child is 3 months or 6 months, you're planning when you're going to move them into their own room, when you're going to fix up their toddler bed when they become a toddler. When they start walking, what are you doing? You're unplugging cords, you're putting outlet fixtures, covers on things. You're protecting so that they don't get themselves in trouble because they're curious. It's a new world for them. When they were crawling, they can only see so many inches off the ground. Now they're standing up and they're walking. They can see so many more inches off the ground. And they're like, oh, I never saw this before. And they stick their little finger and they poke at something and something happens to them. Or they see a cord and they pull it. And that cord is attached to something very heavy that comes down and falls on them. I know this sounds morbid, guys. Please bear with me. This is very, very important. It is important for you to get life insurance. It is important for you to get health insurance. Open enrollment is starting. If you need to get health insurance through Obamacare, by all means. But if you're going to get health insurance through Obamacare, make sure you're looking at your tax return from this past year and projecting how much more money you might make next year. Because we find a lot of people end up having to pay back some of the credit that they earned from Obamacare because they underestimated their income. Because when you're filling out the application, you're estimating your income. And so what happens, especially my self-employed people, you're estimating, okay, this year I worked for $60,000, but I don't want to pay so much in insurance. I'm going to reduce it to $40. Yeah, your premium is $30, $40, but then when you fill out your tax return and you get that Form 1095A, it shows that this is how much credit they got you, but your current income, when you put it in, doesn't match what they estimated your income would have been that gave you such a big credit, and now you have to pay it back. Sometimes not only do you pay it back, there's a penalty associated with it. So let's be real, okay? Let's mind our business. Let's get ourselves educated. When you go see someone for these type of services, bring a loved one with you that you trust that's going to guide you and tell you the truth, even if the person you're seeing speaks your native tongue. And I'm speaking to my Hispanics and my Haitian. I'm speaking to my Guatemalans. I'm speaking to anybody who speaks a language other than English as a native tongue, as your first tongue. Go with someone who speaks that language, but at the same time too, go with someone you trust to go with you. Because sometimes you hear things one way and they heard it another way. Because we interpret things through our own filters. Again, you're watching Mind Your Business with Darlene Pierre-Lewis. I am Darlene Pierre-Lewis. And today we're talking about getting your house in order, living will and testament, power of attorney over your finances, power of attorney over your medical. If something happens to you and you can't speak for yourself, who has that power to speak on your behalf? It's got to be somebody you talk to about now. And then once you assign these people, you need to let them know. Because when they call them, the doctor is going to call, the office, the emergency, the ambulance is going to call. And they're going to say, hey, you have power of attorney. We need you to come and make a decision. She needs blood transfusion. She needs her legs amputated, whatever. That's a very serious decision that someone has to make on your behalf. So please, the first thing you guys are going to do for me is you're going to go to your bank. You're going to make sure you have a beneficiary on that account. If it's a joint account, then that means either or. If someone passes, then you have a backup person. But if it's a single account, I mean, it's just you on that account, you need to have a beneficiary. But if it's a joint account too, you may still want to have a beneficiary because we're driving in our cars together. If you're a couple, you more than likely you're together. So what if something happens and you're both in a coma, or you both are unable to speak for yourself? Who has the authority? You're in the driver's seat. You know the direction you want your life to go to. And this is your opportunity to make sure that you take charge. You're going to mind your health business. You're going to mind your will business. You're going to mind your financial business. And most importantly, you're going to mind your mental health business. The month of October is depression awareness. And a lot of us have these anxieties or feelings or sadness or this feeling of unrest. Sometimes you don't even know how to put words to it. Have a trusted friend you can talk to. But if you have a job, your job has a plan that allows you to go for free for so many hours to go see a counselor, to go see someone to help you talk this process through so you can find out what's going on with you. Your health practitioner, your health doctor does that for your physical body, but we need someone for the mental. Sometimes you're just stressed, you're overwhelmed, you need to take a step back. Take a respite, take an hour break, take a day, take a weekend. Doesn't have to be a whole week, a month. You don't even have to go away. If you have a beautiful backyard, sit in your backyard, drink your tea, drink your coffee, drink your wine, whatever it is you drink. Relax, play some music that you like. Eat a piece of chocolate if you want to, unless you can't eat it for health purposes. But just be with yourself, be in a moment. Invite some friends over. Don't make it too chaotic. You guys just chill together. Live. We spend so much time working that we don't spend time living. Again, you're tuned in to Mind Your Business with Darlene Pierre-Lewis. I am Darlene Pierre-Lewis, and I thank you for tuning in.